Hey, welcome back. It's Biddy Penny, and I'm here with a September 2020 Spellbinders kit. So this is their card kit, and you have to subscribe to get the whole card kit, or you can buy pieces of it. You just can't buy the dies separately. But a lot of times you can buy the paper, ephemera, stuff like that, the stamp set. I subscribe, but I don't just automatically get it every month. In fact, I already skipped for next month. I saw the sneak peek and didn't go for it. So anyways, I have been so excited about this one. This is the Nested Domes from Waffle Flower. As soon as I saw this kit revealed, I have been waiting to get it in the mail. I was so excited for this one because immediately, as soon as I saw it, I had these cards in mind. All right, so I'm going to flip through here and I pick about 10 pieces of paper from the paper pad, and I really tried hard to use as much of the kit as I could this month. Now, I didn't use the stamps or dies, but I cut up all the paper to make card fronts. So these are all cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. You get, 4 from each sheet, so I had a ton of card fronts. And then here's my paper here. I'm going to take some of these card fronts and I'm going to cut them with the dies. I'm also going to cut the patterned paper. I'm also going to die cut my card bases. So I use the card bases that are supplied in the kit, and I'm showing you here that I just made sure that 2 edges were not going to cut the card. That way it had a fold. And then here's all the other die cutting I did. I also die cut these little bases that come in that Waffle Flower die set. Okay, I kept all of those, and you'll see how I use those later in the video. So I wanted these little domes to kind of be like terrariums, and so that's the look I was going for. And I just think they were so cute. So like as soon as I saw the kit, I pulled this die set out and I just waited for it to arrive. I need to bump up my subscription so that I get it earlier in the month. I've been subscribing for years, and I just started the YouTube a couple of months ago. So now I need to kind of switch it around so I can get my projects out to you guys earlier. I never minded in the past waiting, but you guys might want to see this earlier in the month. So here I'm doing very basic insides and doing a lot of the embellishments on the outside. So one of my goals was to use as many stickers as I could and as much of the ephemera and paper. I really wanted to just fully use up this kit if I could. And you guys are going to be blown away with what is left over. And I'll show you that at the end of the video. All right, so I'm only going to show you me collaging these pieces for a couple of cards because you just don't want to see me fiddle around, I don't think, for 10 cards worth of ephemera placement. But I did, that one was pretty simple, the little gnome and some flowers and leaves. And this paper is a little bit thin, and so I make sure to use my ATG gun when I'm adhering it down versus like a wet glue because it tends to like bubble a bit. And then I had used foam tape to pop up that base there. And I just loved these dimensional stickers this month. They were so cool because they're cardstock, but then they have like a little bit of transparency on them. And I thought that was just really great. So this card is kind of fun because I put the leaves there, and then I put one at the top like it's kind of drifting down, falling towards the ground, so I liked that. These cards were so much fun to make. It's fun to just sit down and play with the ephemera and, you know, put things together, collage. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. So this one I didn't cut quite right. I accidentally cut my edge. But I'm going to show you how to fix it. So on one of the pieces, I just scored it at 1/4 of an inch. And that way it'll bend, and that's going to be the back side of my card, you know. And that way you won't see the creasing on the front cover or anything, but it'll still, you know, open naturally just like any other card would. And there you have it. Problem solved. I think this is one of the last ones that I put together with you guys before I jump into some of my other cards. So I actually, I made 10 of these of this style, and then I made a shaker card, I made a tiny card, and I made another collage card. And on those, I used my scraps. So I wanted to show you how to use your scraps. If you don't have this waffle flower dome set, maybe you have you know, a snow globe set or something like that that you might use instead. Just some ideas. They could be any shape. I just think it's really fun to take the kit and make a bunch of shaped cards out of it. And these images just lended themselves perfectly to this design. I love these little hedgehogs. They're just so cute. I think I used almost all the hedgehogs. The gnomes are cute too, and I love snails. I just love all these. I was so excited about this kit. So I skipped on next month's kit. It's a Christmas kit. It just wasn't that appealing to me. I might, if I'm placing a separate order, I might get the ephemera and maybe the paper pad or something and just play around with it a little bit and show you guys kind of what you would do if you didn't get the whole kit but you decided to get pieces of a kit. We'll see. I have a bunch of hauls coming up, but then that's pretty much it for a while. I'm going to try to get back on to, you know, just creating and less hauls, but it went a little crazy there for a minute. So now I have all my cards assembled, and I'm going to go in and use my scraps to create kind of a base for the inside. And I wanted to make sure just to use the scraps that I had already cut to do this because they're the perfect size. They just need a little bit of the length trimmed off. And so I do that on a couple of these. Sorry, I know I'm out of frame here, but it's only for a second. I have another video that I'm working on for you guys too. So I have a box of scraps, and I'm going to process my scraps with you guys one day. And I'm going to show you how, once my box gets full, what I do with it. And maybe that'll be something that you guys all enjoy, and it'll encourage you to process your scraps. So here I even had these little teeny tiny scraps of those strips that I just trimmed off, and I decided, oh, I think those will work perfectly for one of my tiny cards. So I just popped these onto a tiny card base. This base measures 7 inches by 2.5. This is a really fun thing I like to do. Sometimes with leftover ephemera, if I don't want to just store it away, I will make a bunch of these cards and, have them as random acts of kindness cards, or I give them a few of them as free gifts when people place orders with me in my Etsy shop. If you order a card, you typically will get one or two of these in addition to the card that you order. I always try to find fun free gifts that I can include with each purchase, and so this is a fun one to throw in there for people. Or like I said before, I'll keep them in my purse and try to hand them out to people in the community or leave them places for people to find. Okay, so here's another way to use your scraps. So when I was cutting the domes out, I tried to eyeball it and line it up and make it even on all the sides, because I could already see that these would make great shaker cards or like a reverse dome effect. So that's what I'm going for here, is just kind of reversing the effect of the dome. And so I'm taking, what would have been scrap paper, and then I'm gluing it or taping it to another piece of paper. And I think it is really cute. It makes for a great setup for my card front. This card is going to be for one of my kids, and now I need to make one for the other kid. We've been homeschooling, and my children are doing so awesome. I'm so proud of them. And so I'm going to give them each a card and let them know, you reward the behavior that you want to see rather than punishing the behavior that you don't want to see. So I want to make sure I reward them. They are doing an awesome job at homeschooling. We were in the public school system this year, but that really didn't work for our family and what our needs are. We have some really specific needs with our children, so yeah, we had to do the homeschool thing. Okay, so now here I'm showing you that I'm taking, again, what would probably end up in the trash can, or as, maybe scraps, but typically probably trash. I'm taking these pieces, I'm going to layer them up and create a shallow shaker card. So I only used 3 pieces of the heavyweight cardstock, and then I'm going to tape on my transparency sheet. I used acetate here. Originally I was going to use like the old packaging from within the kit, but it had some holes in it, which wasn't going to work, right? That's not going to hold sequins. So I did have to bring in some acetate from my stash to pull this one off. But you could use like the acetate from the 6x6 pad. I mean, I think there's plenty of plastic within the kit. I bet you could figure something out. What the stickers were stuck to, that sheet of acetate. So here I had picked out some little pieces of ephemera that I wanted to put inside of the shaker. And this card's kind of random and really busy and a little bit wild, but I still think it's great. And more than anything, I just wanted to show you ideas of what to do with all your leftovers. I'm going to adhere a couple of things to the top of this, like the sentiment banner, and then the little pennants up at the top. I like the way these just kind of finish it off. And why not go all out? When your card's a little wacky, just do everything you want to do. Don't even hold back. Just have fun. I think that's one of the greatest things about card making, is we're just playing with paper. Like, it really can't go that badly, right? And if it does, just start over. Okay, so if you saw my last video, the string came in it. It came for the Some More Fun card order that I had gotten. It was bound together with a string, and of course I saved it, and now I'm using it. Anytime I put a pennant on my card, I always like to add some string. And I'm bringing in a little bit of Nuvo drops here to fill in this sequin. I really like to fill in my sequins with Nuvo drops. I haven't done it in a while, but it's like one of those things. Once I start doing it again, you're going to see it a lot. So what I did was, I did all my collaging first, and I got all that settled. And then now basically I'm going back to embellish everything. So I really wanted to use this sentiment because it was my favorite from the puffy stickers, the Hey Kiddo, totally in my language, exactly how I would address my children, so it's perfect. And then I'm bringing in sequins. Now, these blue sequins are from this kit, and then I also bring in some gold sequins that are from a previous Spellbinders kit, and then I'll bring in the more Nuvo drops to put in that are sparkly. I have a sparkly silver and have a sparkly gold. And I'm not gonna, torture you with putting sequins on 10 cards. I'm just gonna show you a couple. And with this one, I really thought the gold was more fitting. I think the blue would have looked fine, but the gold gave it what I wanted it to have. And then here I'm showing you the Nuvo that I brought in. Now I live in Texas and it's humid, and Nuvo drops tend to flatten out on me even if I leave them like drying for 48 hours, 72 hours, it doesn't matter. Like in time, they always tend to flatten out a little bit for me, which I've always found a little bit frustrating, but I keep giving them a shot. With this one, I had some fun. This is the last one I'm going to show you the sequins for. I kind of wanted the blue sequins to look like raindrops. And then I did bring up in another sticker that's like the cloud, and I thought it's just really cute. It really filled in the card quite a bit, but I like the end result, which you'll see at the end of the video here. So I'm going to have a lot of these cards listed this Sunday when I restock my Etsy shop. So if you're interested in picking one up, I'll have them in my Etsy store. I hope you're inspired to make something like this with your supplies at home. And now I'm just going to show you just a quick little flip through. So there it is with the little cloud. And of course I could go back in and add more ephemera to the inside, but I was good with this as it was. I'm not going to open up each card for y'all in this part just because they look the same. I think that turned out fun. I really hope you enjoyed this. If you don't subscribe to Spellbinders and you're thinking about it, maybe this will be something that pushes you over the edge. If not, use what you have. I'm always a proponent of that. If your craft room's anything like mine, you have plenty to work with. So, next time you get a card kit, maybe you can think of making shaped cards with them. Also, you could have used the large heavyweight cardstock and made slimline cards. Granted, you would have made like 5 or 6 if you had cut them that way, but it's totally a possibility. I'm just showing you some of the close-up details here. These just make my heart happy. They are so like in my aesthetic. I love these types of images. I love the colors, just everything about it. I hope you'll hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't yet. Right now, I'm going to show you just real quick what's left over in my kit. It's kind of insane. Like, I really tried to use as much as I could. I made 13 cards and still there's all this left over. So it's definitely a good value. I'm going to come back and revisit the die set and the stamp set. I haven't even touched those yet, but I had to show you. There's just so much left over. Thanks so much for watching. I'm so glad you're here. Have a great day.